Obrigada. Vou passar agora a palavra aos demais membros da mesa. O Chris, na sua fala, ele falou, quando nós falamos dessa percepção negativa da sociedade em relação à mineração, ele colocou de uma maneira que eu achei muito feliz, quer dizer, a necessidade de uma eficiência em mostrar que a riqueza está sendo distribuída, né? Que não é só o ganho no produto mineral, mas a riqueza como um todo. Isso certamente passa por uma mediação, passa por aqueles aspectos também que ele ressaltou na sua fala. Mas o fato é que a nossa sociedade, talvez daí venha a percepção tão negativa, enxerga a mineração ainda como aquela atividade extrativista que tirou o ouro do Brasil para levar para Portugal e depois para a Inglaterra, e ainda continua tirando minérios de ferro, grande quantidade. E aí vem a questão do valor agregado a esses produtos, né? De como valorizar mais esses produtos até aqui mesmo, no local onde eles são extraídos, e, para isso, a necessidade de um investimento industrial, quer dizer, nós aqui não interferimos diretamente nesse aspecto. Eu queria, agora, passando a palavra para a Mayra, que tem essa grande experiência com a interlocução com a indústria, e especificamente no caso do Chile, que fosse relatado um pouco, primeiro com relação a essa percepção, se é da mesma forma que ocorre no país e no Brasil, e quais as medidas que são tomadas para melhorar essa percepção e para tornar mais evidente essa transferência de riqueza.
Okay. I will first. I would like to do a parallel between environment and safety. Maybe how we can improve the conscience from the social government and industry to improve the sustainability in the mining industry. I will leave that problem to. But I would like to do a parallel between safety and environment, because Professor Chris Moran did a parallel between environment, economy, and social issue, and I would like to do the same parallel between economy, social, and safety. Particularly in Chile, 20 years ago, it was very normal to have people dead people in the mining industry, accident, etc. Today, we cannot accept an accident, a fatal accident in the mine. And that means the company, today, one company affected by an accident should stop the operation immediately. The CERNAGEOMIN is the Geological Survey office in Chile, must be an investigation about the accident. And the company must pay an important amount of money to the family of the miner dead. And I think if we consider the parallel between environment, economy, and social issue, we should think in very short term on the same way. So it's unacceptable for the mining industry to have not being sustainable.
I'd just like to add a few comments about Amara's role overall in terms of sustainability. It's clear that in terms of our projects and our members' interests, that it's an emerging area where real research is being done in the same way that over the last 50 or 100 years, research has been done to solve practical problems in a more hard technology, improved mechanical devices for mining and processing and so on. So a challenge for Amara is to increase our activity on behalf of our industry members to help achieve exactly what Juan Daniel was saying, and that is, for us, it's not a debate where the industry will become sustainable, but how to get there in the most effective and rapid way. And obviously, we're pleased to be working with you in Brazil to see what we can learn from your experiences and to see how we can work together on that. I'd like to just comment on Professor Moran's view of because from an industry point of view, then the debate becomes, how do we do this quickly and effectively? And I think Chris made a very important point that we like to ignore, and that is the wave of mines that are being designed at the moment, and I'm going to be even more pessimistic than Chris, are not going to be based on future technology. They're not even going to be based on current technology. They're going to be based on well-proven old technology. One of the challenges the industry has is how do you put relatively new technology in a multi-billion-dollar project where you're going to be fairly conservative that the new, and for example, right now there's a debate about the role of high-pressure grinding rolls, which we've found from research is quite a lot more energy efficient than SAG mills. But at the end of the day, if you're a project manager bringing into production a new mine, the risk you take in applying new technology is quite high, and traditionally the mining industry has been quite conservative in terms of adopting new technology. So you then, and as Chris rightly said, most technology takes 20 or 30 years to go from an idea into proven technology. So those are not options we have at the moment. I think we need to think much more carefully about the point that was made about linkages and connections in organizations. And the example about water and flotation reagents is a really good one. Really, at the end of the day, that's about how people work together and the way you design an organization to be effective in solving a problem like that. Now, we can get organizational improvement typically in the scale of a few years, 3 to 5 years, which is a much shorter period of time than the 20 to 30 years that hard technology innovations become available. So I would like to see us look at more what I'd call soft technology, the way we design organizations, the way people work together, to actually produce some of the benefits that Chris was talking about in terms of pathways and connections within organizations, and in fact within regions. I mean, the industry generally has a history of being quite focused on these single operations of a single mine site, understanding the regional linkages and so on, and really changing the way we think about systems like that and the way we work with, the way people work within those systems. I think there's a lot of opportunity for research into organizational and work issues that will facilitate the sort of short-term improvements that Chris demonstrated is possible. But then you can solve it as a research problem to make it sustainable in the work environment. You have to make sure that the organizational design and systems support that work change rather than just solve the research problem. And I think I'd like to see Amara play a greater role in that capability. Do you have anything to add to that, Chris?
Obrigada. Eu vou pedir ao Alexandre, né, para fazer os comentários, e ao Cris pedindo para serem concisos para que nós possamos...
Bom, eu vou ser rápido. Eu sou um perfeito ignorante nesta matéria, portanto não é a minha especialidade, mas de qualquer forma, ouvindo as reflexões dos colegas, lembrei-me de algo que se passou em Portugal aqui há uns anos, e eu acho que devemos aprender com os erros do passado. Não se trata de mineração, trata-se de uma questão de energética. Portugal é deficitário em energia a todos os níveis, quer dizer, temos minas de carvão que estão fechadas já, portanto, há cerca de 30 anos atrás ainda estavam a funcionar quando isto aconteceu. Eu era estudante universitário nessa altura e debateu-se muito a possibilidade de avançarmos para a construção de centrais nucleares em Portugal. Ora, nessa altura eu andei com um autocolante ao peito que dizia energia nuclear não, obrigado. Estamos a pagar ainda hoje o preço da decisão de, nessa altura, não se ter avançado por uma central nuclear, porque continuamos a ser deficitários em energia. Foram construídas muitas barragens, mas mesmo para a energia elétrica, portanto, muitas vezes temos que importar energia elétrica de Espanha e de França. Não temos petróleo. Isso é um preço que o país tem vindo a pagar ao longo, no fundo, já passamos uma geração e uma decisão errada, no meu entender agora, quando nessa altura implicou, enfim, a situação económica, por exemplo, agravar a situação económica em Portugal neste momento está. Portanto, eu estou aqui a passar esta mensagem, não é no sentido de dizer mineração sim a qualquer preço. Eu acho que a sociedade brasileira deve ter uma palavra a dizer. Mas, portanto, respondendo à pergunta do professor Isamo, há bocado falou de se é de perguntar à sociedade se queremos ou não mineração. Portanto, eu penso que a sociedade brasileira tem que querer a mineração e tem que a defender. Muito obrigado.
I think I'd have two comments. Oh, hear myself speaking. I can speak Portuguese at last. my first comment is, your question is fundamental. It's not answerable. The first is a moral and ethical imperative, I think, which is that people who are living in countries who have, like Australia, for example, or North America, where we've taken good wealth on the result of resources exploitation, to now decide that it's a good idea that resources exploitation occurs in Africa or Southeast Asia, where it's not near me and should be the problem of a society who can't resist. This is a perverse moral and ethical stance that isn't part of the heart of your proposition. So I make a comment rather than an answer really on that. The second one, I think, comes to this question of effort, and this is not a popular answer, but the reality is that we are attempting to get sustainability for more or less free, and that's why we can't move fast. We can't move fast because the control of money is in the hands of government budgets and in the hands of corporate profit. Now, that's okay, that's the system we live in, but we can't maximise the returns into those two places where the cost component, the effort in my model component associated with fundamental change to the practices that we undertake doesn't occur. So you can't have it for free. And the return is that the money comes in the medium term instead of the short term. And of course the problem with that is the financial system rewards short-term money supply. So again, I don't answer your question, but at least attempt to identify the linkage with the financial system. So I say I don't really understand money, but I think I understand it's a big part of the challenge, and that I'm very optimistic about science, technology and engineering being able to design operations and regions where we can have mining that is a far more acceptable process in thermodynamic terms, and therefore likely to be far more acceptable in terms of aesthetics and community who must live around there. But we can't have it for free, but we can't have it cheaply.